it's important for us just to give you an understanding when we talk about these maps. And so you're dealing with the current map right here. This is the current map. And so you see all the different districts here. So this is in Dallas-Fort Worth, okay? And so I just want you to look at what they're doing here, how they are parsing different parts of various districts. So, for instance, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett represents the 30th Congressional District, okay? And so you see right here, this is the 30th, this is the 30th right here, okay? You see how the 30th looks. Now, all of a sudden, let's go over here. Now, look how the 30th looks. You see how they put in that 33rd. You see how they grab portions of her district and how they change this. And so, look over here. Look at this congressional district right here. You see the orange right here? And now you see how this is current, how they have it here, then coming down here. And then now you see how they changed it over here. So you see, again, how they're sitting here, how they're grabbing neighborhoods and how they're sitting here, moving all the pieces on the board around, grabbing pieces from this district and that district and that district to sort of cobble together the district. Same thing when you look at current right here. So you look at is that the 5th? You should look at the slight purple right here. And so look at this here. You see that particular district. You see how in the 32nd is right next to it, but all of a sudden it looks different over here. And so this is how they've been playing with the maps. Now give me the statewide map. Let's see the statewide map. All right, so you can understand what they're trying to do in the entire state. So this is just Dallas-Fort Worth. So what they looked at 3 areas: Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, and they looked at the Austin area. And so again, this right here is the current map. And so you see how the map looks. And so you're looking at the various counties. There are 254 counties that are in Texas, 254 counties. And so you see how it's all separated. But then all of a sudden you go over here. And now when you look at this map right here, you see how the purple district changes, how all those other different, now you see out there West Texas, look, ain't no change in West Texas. And so the purple right here, the yellow right here, that's Amarillo and the Panhandle. But all the changes come right here. All the changes all up in here. Now we're talking Dallas-Fort Worth. Now we're going all the way down. Now we're talking about going East Texas, Houston, all these areas down here. You don't see much change down here in South Texas. You see some, okay, because you look over here, the current map, you see right here, this down here, and all the way down here in South Texas, you see right down here, that's South Texas, and you see how there's a change here. What they've done is they've given some of that South Texas district up to some of these purple seats right here that are in West Texas. And so this is what they're trying to do in order to reconfigure. Now, again, what did they all say? They said when they drew this map right here, this is the current map, they literally said, oh no, race had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. They're actually being sued in court. Right now, Texas is defending this map, saying race was not involved. But the Trump Department of Justice sends a letter saying, oh, districts are unconstitutional, these coalition districts. So Abbott goes, okay, we got to change them. You can't have it both ways. You can't be in court defending the maps by saying race wasn't involved, but now you're redrawing them because Trump said race was involved. Let's bring in my panel right here. Glad to have all 3 of them here. Introducing them. Pull all 3 up, please. All right, everybody's up. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, first off, Teresa Lundy, TML Communications, joining us. Teresa, of course, is out of Philadelphia. Glad to have her here. Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA. He also joins us from Washington, D.C. Glad to have my frat brother here as well. Also joining us on the show, Dr. Zachary Kirk, educator and content creator out of Atlanta. Glad to have all 3 of y'all here. I'm just getting a kick every day out of the story changing, Mustafa. It changes. No, it's not the maps, it is the maps. It's like, no, they did it, we're doing it. Oh, they gerrymandered first, we're doing it now. Look, We know what the deal is. They're trying to kiss Donald Trump's ass, pure and simple.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But it is also about erasure. It is about power. It is about, making sure that folks who fought for the vote, who, invested in their communities, also lose resources, because sometimes folks forget when we're talking about gerrymandering. Yeah, we're talking about the vote. We're talking about the shifting of power, but we are also talking about who's going to stand up for you when you need Medicaid, who's going to make sure that you have the resources you need for education. You can go down the laundry list of all the things that are tied to this when they begin to erase people, when they begin to extract power away from folks. So we've got that dynamic that's going on. And then, of course, they continue to kiss the ring of Donald Trump. And what they're really doing is setting themselves up long term for democracy to no longer have the same amount of meaning that it once did. So people have to speak up. We got to continue to push. We got to continue to fight. And we got to continue to make sure that there's real justice that happens as we go through this process.
It's crazy, Teresa, hearing the Democrats doing this in Pennsylvania. They're doing it in New Jersey. They're doing it. Political gerrymandering has been done by both parties. I love it how they just totally ignore how Republicans gerrymandered North Carolina to take 3 congressional seats. Teresa, you on mute.
I'm back. Sorry about that. They absolutely tried to do it right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it's not new. It's the playbook, and we were, as Democrats, were able to overcome through facts, through courts, and appeal. But it also took neighbors, elected officials, and those that are in those distinguished positions to ask their constituents to use their voice. To take action. So I'm very excited about what we are seeing, but this is not an unusual playbook.
This is very simple, Zachary. You fight fire with fire, pure and simple.
And thank God we are seeing that model come to us from Texas Democrats. They are coming hard and they're doing the right thing. There are a lot of people who are upset at this move that Texas Democrats have made to pack it up and get the hell up out of Dodge. But that's what it takes if you're when you're dealing with corrupt people. It's wild to me that Texas Republicans and Governor Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton were sitting on their asses thinking that people were going to take this. These people, your elected leaders in Texas, they're making $7,000 a year and they're being fined $500 a day for what they've chosen to do. But this is the only thing they can do to protect democracy. And our representatives earlier, I think it was Representative VC, when he said that, we've already seen this happen in Congress where Republicans shut down the process for Congress early and left because they were trying to protect a pedophile and protect the leaking and the releasing of the Epstein files, which they promised to the people. What you have happening in Texas are Democrats who are leaving and shutting down the governmental process to protect democracy. These two parties aren't the same. And we need people to see that. And I'm going to be honest with you, Roland. I need my national Democrats to see this as a model and example and start fighting back in the exact same ways. Shut the shit down.
I mean, these folks here, again, I just laugh at them. I just sit here and just go, we're dealing with some loudmouth individuals. And the whining and complaining to me is utterly hilarious. It's utterly hilarious, okay, how they're trying to sit and play the game, all right? And we know what's going on. And what they've done is, like, for instance, you got this right-winger, Michael Quinn Sullivan. He goes, you know what really bugs the Democrats the most about the Texas redistricting plan? For the new Republican-leaning seats or majority Hispanic, Democrats won maps that suppress Hispanic voting strength in favor of white leftists. Here's why Michael Quinn Sullivan is full of shit, y'all. In the last 2 censuses, Texas's population increased because of Latinos and Hispanics. And you know what the Republicans did? They created white districts. Yep, that's what they created. And here's what poor little Michael Quinn Sullivan, and just so y'all know, he is the right wing. First of all, I despise the fact that he's a Texas A&M Aggie. That's pathetic. But he's also the publisher of Texas Scorecard. This right wing, come on, show it, please, come on. This right wing publication. That's what he is, this right-wing publication. And so what they're all about is they're all about hardcore right-wing. Well, let's be clear. Majority of Hispanics in Texas don't vote Republican. They still vote Democrat. That's a fact, Teresa. It's a fact.
Yeah, they do. And they're actually looking at the issues that is happening in their districts and in their neighborhoods, and they're voting accordingly. I think, the Republicans are really stressed about their numbers. So what they're doing is that they can't change how their voting is going to happen because they haven't delivered for the folks that voted for them and for the folks that they say they're actually serving. So it's going to be a tough time. And I think this whole redistricting effort is going to be a test to see what actually comes of, when we get to midterms.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I keep saying this, Mustafa, over and over and over again. It means you have to turn out and vote. We have to see massive numbers of black people and others turning out to turn these Republicans out of office.
It goes back to my grandmother's quote that folks have heard me talk about. You have power unless you give it away. When you don't get up off the couch, you are giving your power away. When you think that it's just not that important, my vote doesn't matter, you're giving your power away. And when you give your power away, you're giving your resources away. You're giving away the ability to frame out the direction for your community. You're giving away your children's future, to be quite honest with you, based upon many of the policies that they're moving forward on. So all we got to do is mobilize, get folks ready, educated, registered, and then go out and vote and make sure you're voting for policies that actually have some humanity in them. Make sure you're voting for policy that's actually going to help you to be able to hold on to your home. Vote for policies that will help to protect you from the hurricanes that are going to come back through Texas and many of the other natural disasters that are going on. So you should just make sure that you vote, and that not only you vote, but you make sure you're talking to other folks about why they should be voting as well.
Zachary.
There are people who are, wondering, why Texas Democrats ended up in Chicago and ended up in New York, ended up in Boston. And they're saying things like, is it really going to make a difference? Roland, I'm going to be honest with you and your viewers, because I think it dovetails into what you just said about voting. It is possible that it is an inevitable reality that these really bad maps are going to pass, that this gerrymandering and what the Republicans in this country are doing to suppress democracy will come to pass. And yeah, we can definitely blame the SCOTUS. We can definitely blame Chief Justice Roberts. They have a lot of blame in this, but we also have to blame the voters. We have to blame those who voted for this and put Donald Trump in office. We have to blame those who voted for Greg Abbott and who put him in office. But we also have to blame the 90 million eligible voters who sat down and made a choice to not vote. And we have to ensure that they know what's happening and know the consequences of their actions. The only reason this is happening is because of what voters did or did not do. And the only way to reverse course, the only hope that we have, the only chance that democracy has to continue to exist in this country is that in 2026, they get off their asses and the 90 million go and vote, and they vote overwhelmingly in favor of democracy, not necessarily the Democratic Party. That's not what I'm saying, but vote in favor of democracy, vote for America, and vote in their best interest.
And here's my position. Go to my iPad. It's real simple. So let's see here. New York, there are 26 seats, 16 Democrat, 10 Republican. California, 43 Democratic seats, 9 Republican. If I'm Hochul and Newsom, I'm snatching all 19. And I'm not going to apologize 1 second.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.